Hello everybody.
Hello.
And good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Saolta Showcase 2023. I would like to introduce Saolta's Programme Manager, Nick Doran, to the stage, and he will tell us a little bit more about Saolta. Thank you.
Saolta is a strategic partnership kindly funded by Irish Aid for global citizenship education in the adult and community education sector. It's made up of a consortium of 6 partners: Development Perspectives, which is a global citizenship education NGO based in Drogheda, for whom I work; Concern Worldwide, who bring a huge amount of knowledge to the stage and to the consortium around about international development and social justice and human rights and poverty and inequality. Maynooth University, Department of Adult and Community Education, have a huge insight on a massive body of research and knowledge around about adult education, and they have huge access to different areas of adult education as well. Then Irish Rural Link, who represent a huge amount of access to more harder to reach rural areas around Ireland. So this brings a huge extra added element to Saolta's programme. Then AINTIS, the National Adult Education Organisation, again they have a huge and valuable set of knowledge around adult and community education and huge access to different areas and harder to reach areas in adult and community education as well. We also have Cork Education Training Board. They provide a huge amount of access to further education and training, a huge amount of knowledge around adult and community education as well.
And we're delighted to have the Minister of State at the Department of Foreign Affairs with responsibility for international development, Sean Fleming, with us today.
Thank you very much for the kind invitation. You're in the toughest area of all the sectors of education in Ireland and to get your message across. So I'm saying as Minister of State, it's an area that you're in, I want to prioritise because yours is an area we want to help more and see more work. So I want to wish you well in your work and say my door as Minister of State in this area is always open because I know the job you do is critical because of the particular informal structure that you're dealing with in the first place. And I think we in the department have to prioritise that. We're doing our best, but I would be listing it as a priority for us in the department for 2024.
This is the part of today that I've been looking forward to the most. We're going to have our panel discussion now. So please let's welcome them to the stage.
It's so important that people understand what's happening in the world, that people can focus on some issues and to be able to take an action to make such a difference.
The concerted effort needs to be made to revise the curricula we're delivering at adult and community level and at further education and training level to make sure that everybody who goes to any workplace or any field of study has to think about sustainability, and the willingness of the teachers particularly to do this is there.
Researchers that are coming into communities and taking information and taking knowledge from people, and the only output is a journal article that goes and is read without going back. something tangible.
These are the most important words for us as educators. What's going on? And I could introduce a whole lot of, critical theory, and we could discuss all the scholarship, etc. and things like that. Just set that all aside and just think of those words, what's going on. And it's just important for us to apply our what's going on to these three words. When we talk about learning, we have to, by way of the way in which we use language, make assumptions, so that often when we talk about learning, we mean learning stuff, things that we can do, stuff that we know, stuff that can be assessed, and we often think of it as happening in schools. Then when we talk about schooling, we see something maybe like the reproduction of the values of our culture in our young people as they grow up. And then when we talk about education, it's sometimes a very narrow definition, but here in this room, I know that we collectively have that enhanced view of the potential of education. The Minister said it, education will change the world. It's just, that is the way in which it happens. Why? Because that is the human thing that we do when we wish to progress.
The Saolta Star Award is part of the Aintus Star Awards. And last year we had our first iteration of this Star Awards, and it was all geared around global citizenship education and dealing with issues like inequality, marginalisation, poverty, climate change, dealing with the whole range of issues that are wrapped up in the Sustainable Development Goals and just the principles of global citizenship education. The St. Vincent's Centre Stand Up to Climate Change won the first iteration of the Saolta Star Awards. And their project was a programme for people with intellectual disabilities to use interpretive dance and waste fashion design to create methods of expressing how climate change and how waste and biodiversity loss were impacting the world. The amount of imagination that went into this, the amount of thought that went into this, the amount of heart they put into it.
And it gives me a great pleasure today to present the valued members of Saolta over the years, Michael Dorley, Suzanne Kyle and Michael Kenny. Unfortunately, Michael Kenny can't be with us today, but on behalf of the whole Saolta team, to just recognise the valuable contribution that you have made over the years to Saolta.
The elephant in the room in terms of what a lot of adult and community educators were experiencing was this pressure from policy in terms of the labour market activation agenda in adult and community education. And that's why I think that the Saolta project was a breath of fresh air, and just even to commend Irish Aid, in terms of holding on to that language of adult and community education, because language and discourse does have a massive impact in terms of how values are embedded into the work, and that was one thing that was really important to us in the Community Education Network.
It is about the doing, and I think what Bobby and Nick and the whole Saolta team have really done is they've kind of recognised that this is not the work of any single group or single organisation, but that we need to tap into one another's expertise. We need to tap into that common values that hold us all together. So it is with great pride that I declare how much Saolta has meant to me. It was one of the best programs that I was involved in my nearly 40 years in development education work. So I'm so proud to be part of this and to have it on my CV.
It's fair to say that the work that we do in Saolta relies so heavily on Irish Aid. So on behalf of Saolta, can I thank Irish Aid and Maria in particular, who's here today. Also, Minister Fleming, who I have to say, since he's been in post, has been nothing but supportive to the global citizenship education sector. He's in the role a while now, but it's one of those things. We've met the Minister on a few occasions, which isn't necessarily the norm. So we want to thank the Minister for taking the time to be here today and for committing to supporting global citizenship education into the future. So thank you, Minister Fleming. The global citizenship education can offer a light or indeed maybe a hope in those times where it is dark, where it is difficult, where it is a struggle. I know that our work, and I say this in a very collective way, but is crucially important. Our efforts are really valuable. And although maybe it's not always recognised to the extent that we wish it to be, I think it's no less a reason to continue it. It is crucially important. And I know wiser people than me have often said that our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure.